All right. Everybody here okay? Anybody hear me at all? There you go. Good. Hey, Manny, welcome. Got a new Einstein. Glad to have you with us. So, let me tell you real quick about what we do here. These aha moments. I've got this little, this little text up here, and that's really what we're doing. This is not where I'm going to be teaching. Excuse me. Our trading system. You're not going to see any charts. You're not going to see any, we're not going to talk about the indicators. We're not this. This is not that venue. This is what I call the other 80% of trading. Things that you need to know to be successful at trading, or at least things that I found were not being taught out there in the trading world, but that ultimately helped me turn my trading around, and started doing things successfully. I talked about it in the trade room earlier that I was a very failed trader, until I decided I was going to stop listening to all of the regurgitated gurus out there that just kept, uh, you know, basically rewriting stuff and saying the same things over and over. And I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. And I was going to look at trading from a different perspective. And so when I did that, I had a few ahas, and the more ahas I had, the more I began to have. One would lead to another. So this is where I'm going to talk about those ahas, and hopefully somewhere along the way you'll have some ahas and start approaching your trading differently than you have been if you haven't been successful. But I know that you're going to learn something through these events that maybe you didn't know before. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and get started on today's session. Each session is an individual session, and we only do one a week because we kind of want you to think about what it was that we talked about, or what I talked about in uh, these brief meetings. These could go from anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes. We've been in this round for a while now, Alex. We haven't. We've been. I don't know. We're several weeks into this one already. Probably a little more than halfway through. I don't know where you've been, but so we're going to talk about goal and transition plans. Um, and one of the things that I noticed when I was kind of rethinking this whole thing about trading was I kept hearing about, you've got to establish goals. And so if you look up the definition of goal, in the dictionary, we all seem to have a goal, and it says the end toward which effort is directed. So the end to me seemed awfully definitive. When you reach a goal, you basically feel like, you know, I've arrived. Many of you have had goals, so just pick an example of a goal you had when you came into trading, or that you have now, that you want to, um, maybe make $200 a day. I hear that one pretty often. Or I want to quit my job and only trade for a living. Or I just want to supplement my income by this amount every day, or every week, or whatever. Or um, whatever. We all come in with goals, or what we think are goals. A lot of times this is more of just a hope or a wish, right? Because a goal without a plan it's really just a hope, right? Or a wish for something. And in hindsight, of course, I had goals, I wanted to quit my construction business, um, and just trade for a living. I had been doing it for a long time. My body was taking a beating from it. I was exhausted all the time. It was high stress. Um, and I just thought, trading would be a much more simple life. So I want to stop my construction business and start trading live, for an income. And even though it didn't matter that it took me 20 years to get that level of income in construction, I felt like, just a few months of this trading thing, I'll have it figured out, and I can then stop my construction business one day and start trading for a living the next day. Okay, so um, that's kind of what in my mind I thought might happen. Okay, so when we talk about goals, there's no really good uh, way of doing or achieving a goal without a plan. Okay, a plan is a process to achieve a goal. So you can't just say I have a goal if you don't have a plan, right? You don't really want to ever consider that because you hit a goal once, or you've hit a certain goal, okay, I made $200 today, there, I'm done. If that was your goal, I don't really think of trading goals as realistic. Trading is a process, okay? The plan is what's important, okay? So rather than a goal plan, let's think of it more like a growth plan, okay? We want to focus less on money. We want to instead focus on behaviors and habits to be developed, at least initially, okay? So let's try to remove money from the plan, and let's set goals, or instead of goals, levels of growth, okay? So let's look at a growth level one. And for me, financial goals tended to be a kind of a setup for disappointment. So this is where this whole growth idea came from. If I set a goal, a financial goal, and I never seem to achieve it, I'm just constantly disappointed day after day after day. I didn't really, I began to believe that I didn't have the skill. So these goals were really more vague, and they just kind of, I knew that they were really wishes. Okay. They were vague and had very little meaning to me after a while. So let's look at growth. Okay. So we might have performance growth, where you want to work on seeing the setups, making sure you understand the setups, knowing, excuse me, why our trading system works the way it does. And there is no shortage of information available on why our trading system works. Not just because this indicator says this and this indicator says this and this one's crossing over this, and there's that's not understanding what's going on. So you want to grow in your understanding of what it is that you're actually doing. Okay. And then maybe you're going to set another level of growth and say I want to create a work habit growth, and I want to find time to practice. I'm going to do 100 or 1,000 practice trades in Market Replay. And you can start doing that today, right? And there's no end point, but it's about the process. Okay. I'm all about the process. You will never come to a point in time in your trading where you don't have to work at your trading. Okay. This is not, these levels of growth are not something that you just check off a list. All right. So the process of doing these things helps to build the confidence, helps to build consistency, and helps to maintain that confidence and consistency when you feel yourself maybe slipping. And I know this for a fact because I do get the opportunity to talk to a lot of traders and discuss their successes and their failures with them. And ultimately, people will come to me and say, Tony, I was doing really good, and lately I haven't been doing as good. I've been struggling, and I say, okay, well, let's go back and let's see what's changed. And so I start asking about these work habits that they had established early on, but they started seeing success. And as soon as they started seeing success, they didn't feel like they needed to do the work anymore. They felt like they'd hit the goal. And as soon as that happens, things started slipping. Okay. So these levels of growth, this process is not something that you just stop at. Okay. Because then you're just going to fall back down the stairs here. So then you go to your next level of growth. Okay. And let's say it's time for some emotional growth, like managing your trades, learning how to be bored, but still staying engaged, learning how to stop thinking about money all the time when you're trading, learning to stop listening to your gut, not getting excited, not having this fear of missing out. This is all a level of growth that's going to be required for you to become successful. And again, there's no goal here. This is a process where it just continues. Now let's find another level of growth. Let's see if we can help our confidence grow. Let's work on X number of days that we have winning trades, or X number of days of video replay in a row. Work on building your own trade setups or tuning the trade setups that I use and doing the analysis of those setups. All right, you've done the hard work to develop all these other things, but I can't sell you a box of confidence, right? You have to earn confidence, and that's part of a growth process in trading and anything for that matter. You earn confidence. I can't sell it to you. Manny just joined us as an Einstein. Very happy to have you, Manny. But I will provide you with tools and instructions and information and everything I can to help you work at becoming more confident. Confidence is everything. You cannot trade without it. And I can't sell it to you. So you're going to earn it, but I'm going to show you how to earn it. We'll teach you how to earn it. So financial goals is something that never works because they're about money. Money is the source of most of our emotional issues when it comes to trading. When you really sit and analyze why trading causes so much emotion and anguish and fear and panic and greed, all these emotions, it's all related to money. So why would you sit down and have a financial goal? Again, you're setting yourself up for failure almost immediately. So let's don't focus on financial growth. Let's focus instead on performance growth and the work habit growth and emotional growth. Oh, and confidence growth. Okay. So now let's talk about transition planning. Remember I talked about early at the beginning. I said that my goal was to stop my construction business one day and start my trading business the next day as my main source of income. So what does that look like? Well, here's what it looked like to me. This was my detailed plan. You know, you can't have a goal without a plan, right? Well, here was my plan. Learn to trade. Stop working at my current job. Trade for a living. That was it. That's pretty detailed plan right there, isn't it? Well, that's everybody, Alex, because we don't really have a clue. We haven't gotten to the. I think most of us get stuck on number one. We don't ever really think about that transition from dropping away from all of those guarantees that you have when you work for somebody else, when you have a job, when you're guaranteed a paycheck if you just do your job, where you have vacation time, where you have insurance, where they do all the tax stuff for you, where you have all of these responsibilities and the financial security that's kind of taken care of by your company. We don't really have a big picture of what it's going to be like one day to have the confidence to quit that job because you're so good at trading now and you're making so much money that that everything's going to be fine. Okay. Most of us would love to quit our jobs and be full-time traders for a living. Almost nobody I've met has done that without going through this process that I'm going to detail here in a second. All right. Prior to me coming up with this, I hadn't met anybody that quit their full-time job and traded full-time for a living. I don't know if you guys have, but there's not many people that are able to do that. So here's how you would do that if that were indeed your goal. So there's a lot going on from learning to trade to trading for a living. So there's this big gap, and we've got to close this gap. It's a big, scary gap. It's like jumping out of an airplane and hoping for the best. I'll figure it out on the way down. What we need to do is divide this up into steps. Now, when you realize that you can bridge this gap with steps, it becomes more doable, right? So what are these steps? So here it is, and many of you that have been in this program for a long time have already started this. You're well on your way. People like Manny and some other new people that we have maybe haven't heard this before. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to make a list of all your personal bills. And you're going to take those personal bills and you're going to rank them in order from smallest to largest. And you're going to remove that bill from your personal bills, and you're going to assign that bill to your new trading business. By the way, trading as a business is a aha that we've done not too long ago, and we'll come back around and we'll do it again in a few weeks. So you've got your business. You're going to now apply your smallest bill. For me, it was my water bill. And my business had to profit in 1 month enough to pay the water bill. And that's it. That's it. That was the only responsibility my trading business had, was paying that water bill every month. Now, once I started doing that regularly, and I saw that indeed my business can profit, I took the next smallest bill and I assigned that to my business. Now my business had to profit enough for those two bills. That's a different way of looking at what it is that you're trying to accomplish. You have a responsibility to your trading business, and your business has a responsibility to you. This is a more realistic goal or growth plan. Just this little bit, and then you just take the next smallest and the next smallest, and then you keep working your way up until ultimately your trading business is paying your personal bills. Now, how hard is it for you to go in one day and give your 2-week notice that you're leaving your job, that you're leaving all that security? It's pretty easy because your trading business is already supporting you. It's already paying the bills. All right. So any questions on that? All right, cool. No questions? Excellent. All right, well, that's it for today. We'll see you guys all back here next week or in the trade room.